Welcome friends to another r/unresolved mysteries video. As always, if you enjoyed the video, please make sure to hit the subscribe button. And our story of the day is by Successful Cat 8572, The Disappearance of Anne-Elisabeth Hagen, the Lørenskog Disappearance. It's October 2018 in Norway. Summer is over and it's getting chilly in Lørenskog, an area one could consider a calm suburb of the capital city Oslo. Tom Hagen, 68, is a tall and serious man who lives with his wife, Anne-Elisabeth, 68, in what many would call a modest house, at least considering his income. Anne-Elisabeth is a homely woman leading a quite private life. She's a mother and a grandmother. She married her husband Tom in 1969. They were both teenagers. Back then, she worked in a nursing home. Eventually, she and Tom had 3 children and moved to their forever home in Lørenskog. As her husband's career advanced, she occasionally worked as somewhat of a secretary in his office, and even managed the office cafeteria as the company grew. Anne-Elisabeth's husband Tom is a businessman, an investor, engineer, and property investor. After starting the company Alcraft in 1992, he's now one of Norway's richest men. The 31st of October, Anne-Elisabeth talks with her son on the phone at 9:14 a.m. Then, Anne-Elisabeth disappears. Police later determined that her disappearance must have taken place between 9:15 and 9:48 a.m. Later investigations identify footprints from a shoe of the brand Sprox and some packing strips from the store Biltema. At 2:08 p.m., Tom Hagen calls the police, reporting his wife had been kidnapped. He explains he has found a ransom note written in broken Norwegian. The note is demanding 9 million euros paid in Monero, a cryptocurrency. It contains detailed instructions on how to communicate with the kidnappers through coded Bitcoin messages. The letter's threatening and is later deemed by language experts to be written by one or several people with Norwegian as their first language. The kidnappers have made it clear that Tom is not to involve the police, but Tom does cooperate with the authorities and is asked by Kripos, the National Crime Investigation Service in Norway, how he would have communicated with the kidnappers without indicating police involvement. Tom replies that he wouldn't have been able to, that he's technically disabled and doesn't understand cryptocurrencies. 3 days later, the police transfer Bitcoin to the kidnappers in an effort to communicate. Tom and the rest of his family are in hiding at a somewhat local hotel. 8 days pass before a reply is received. On November 10th, the kidnappers respond with the following message: "Little time, quick, or she is dead." Communication is now established. The disappearance becomes public news on January 9th, 2019. Exactly 1 week later, Tom's lawyer, Sven Holden, receives a strange email. It's from the kidnappers and sent anonymously through Tor, a dark web browser client. The last of the Tor emails is received on July 8th. In this email, it's stated that it will be bad if Tom intends to mess with the kidnappers, and a partial payment of the initial demand of 9 million euros is demanded. Other emails contain sentences like, "Tom, you now ready for trade? You now understand F us mistake? Like not this deal? Okay, we done." The next day, Tom transfers 1.35 million euros in Monero with assistance from the police. The kidnappers never reply. Tom was arrested in April 2020 and charged with murder, but was soon released. There is no real evidence against Tom as far as I know, but he's still a suspect in this case. A man in his 30s, identity not made public, is also charged. The police will not comment why Tom and this man are suspects. Both deny any involvement. Anne-Elisabeth's body has never been found. It should be noted that the police have been heavily criticized in the investigation. However, the story's not over. During the 3 years since Anne-Elisabeth's disappearance, there have been many articles about this case in the Norwegian media, some suggesting that Tom might have had quite sinister motivations. Witnesses have contacted the police stating that they don't believe Anne-Elisabeth was kidnapped. They state that Anne-Elisabeth seemed distraught before her disappearance and believe that Tom could have been involved, with the motive being marital problems. Tom and Anne-Elisabeth's children, all adults, are all critical of these suggested marital problems. In some of Tom's personal notes from 2016, it suggested that the two are close to divorce, and that Tom could lose a lot of money if a divorce were to take place. Tom has commented this to the media stating, "I think this is strange. My notebooks contain around 17,000 pages and were easily accessible to the police. I don't have anything to hide. I might have written that divorce would always be an option, but who gets divorced after 49 years? When I write about challenges and problems, but I include everything, both good and bad. All scenarios. It seems like the police disregard anything positive on these pages when they try to draw a negative image of me." In October of 2018, 22 days before her disappearance, Anne-Elisabeth was at a gathering with many other people. Here, she cried and spoke of difficulties in her marriage with Tom. Witnesses state that they were very surprised by this, as Anne-Elisabeth was usually very reserved and private. Anne-Elisabeth sent a text message to a friend on her wedding day, the 25th of October 2018, 6 days before her disappearance. In this message, she indicated that her husband Tom believes their 49-year-long marriage has been a waste of time. She writes that he didn't congratulate her and that he didn't want to celebrate with a dinner. Tom has commented this, saying, "It is completely wrong that I didn't want to celebrate our anniversary. We didn't make a big fuss on this day, but we had a nice dinner with one of our children. We also had plans to go to Sidon soon after, like we usually did." Sidon being a blanket term for the South, meaning warm countries for holiday purposes. On the family computer, Google searches on the topic of divorce had been performed during 2017. It's likely Anne-Elisabeth was the main user of this family computer. Separation papers have been found in the house, signed by Anne-Elisabeth only. These documents were several years old. Tom and Anne-Elisabeth had a prenuptial agreement. Several lawyers have stated that this contract was extremely skewed in Tom's favor, to the point of it being invalid if taken to court. For example, according to the prenup, a divorce would have left Anne-Elisabeth with a car, 200,000 NOK, around 24,000 USD, and a property that could be used for construction of a cabin. In the media, experienced lawyers have speculated that Tom could have lost hundreds of millions of kroners in court. In 2018, Tom was worth at least 1.7 billion Norwegian kroners. Anne-Elisabeth's income this year was 273,000 kroners and a fortune of 172,000. Tom has stated that his wife was uncomfortable flaunting their money and that she was very modest. Anne-Elisabeth's friends have stated that she never talked about money and that she often shopped for bargains whenever they went to the local mall. Tom has stated that he had a panic after a conflict in 1993, since the house was registered on both him and his wife. He stated that since he was scared to be thrown out of the house, he had the property transferred to himself only. According to Tom, Anne-Elisabeth totally understood this, and there had not been any painful discussions. However, he also mentions that she had stated that it should not be this way. The police suspect that this marriage conflict in 1993 never really ended. So considering the circumstances, considering how wealthy Tom is, the possible marital conflicts, the reporting off the bat that they were kidnapped, transactions in cryptocurrency, do you think Tom was behind this? Let me know in the comments down below. But with that being said, that's a wrap on another spooky video. If you enjoyed this video, if you could hit that subscribe button, it would mean a lot to me. I make these videos daily, and it's by far and away the best way to support my channel. So no matter what you did, whether it was subscribing or liking, leaving a comment, I just appreciate the heck out of you guys. So thank you all again for watching, and as always, sleep well.